So when I say team, it can really vary widely, right? And so it really depends on how much the company is investing in any individual idea or product at the time. So a team might be 3 or 4 people where you have somebody who's a designer and somebody who is more of a developer and somebody who's maybe doing some testing, all the way up to you might have 50, 100 people working on an effort. And typically, if you're that big, where you have 50 to 100 people, then those are divided into sub-teams, right? We usually try to get any team that actually thinks of themselves as a team to be somewhere around seven people, right? 5 to 7 people. And so if you have a really big product, like take Photoshop, for example, that might have dozens of people working on it, typically then we're going to divide that into say, hey, Photoshop has this type of feature and this type of feature and this type of feature. So let's put a couple of sub-teams on this feature and a couple on this feature and a couple of that on that feature, just because the coordination and the attempt to actually collaborate, right? The beauty of a team is that you can get more out of the people than they could do individually. Right, and that comes because we bounce ideas off of each other. We bring different perspectives to the table, and so there's a lot of power in that. And that works really well up until you get to about 7 or 8 people, and then it just actually starts to bog the whole thing down if you get above that size. So we might have a team with 100 people that's broken into a whole bunch of little groups, and those sub teams are functioning more at that 5 to 7 person level, but they're all coordinating towards a single release for that product. So if we zoom into that 7-person team level, the makeup is going to vary a little bit depending on what type of product it is, how mature that product is, and really what the needs of the feature that they're building at that point is. So a typical thing might be, you might have 4 developers, people, a couple maybe who are focusing on back-end development and a couple who are doing more front-end or interface development, maybe a tester, a designer. And then all of those people are typically going to be aided somehow by something like a program manager who's helping to coordinate across multiple of those 7-person teams. There's often a person who's playing a product management role for that team of 7 who's helping to prioritize the work. To say, this is the most important thing that this sub-team could build at this time. And so there's a lot of coordinating roles that go across those various teams as well. So yeah, the Creative Suite effort that I was the group program manager for had 1,200 people working on it. So that includes all of the product teams, so Photoshop and InDesign and Premiere Pro and Audition. Each of those teams has their own program manager, their own product manager, their own engineering and testing management. And then really the job that I had was to help coordinate across all of those different products to say, we all need to ship in the same box at the same time 2 years from now. How are we going to do that, and how are we going to make it feel like an integrated suite versus just a whole bunch of separate efforts with different customers? And so really my job was a coordinating job across all those different efforts. And yeah, cumulatively, we're looking at 1,200 people that you're trying to help kind of coordinate and push in the same direction.